place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Good morning. How is everybody? Good? Well, please stand as you are able, and we are going to sing I Release and I Let Go. You might not have the words in your bulletin, but I think we all know this one by now. I release and I let go, and I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah? Ring a bell? All right. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God.
Yay. We can do it. We're good. We're here. We had a wonderful concert last night with Steve Mason. Ellen counted. She said there were 37 people here. Isn't that great? And it looked like there were 37 people here. And we sang, and we were sung to, and we were serenaded, and we were blessed. So thank you so much, Ellen, for creating the possibility of that event. Yay. Ellen bought an auction item, and it happened to be Steve's concert. And that's how it came into being. She bought him, and we loved it. Thank you. Good morning, everyone online. Good morning, everyone here in this sanctuary. We offer our unity welcome, our warm, our loving unity blessing. We are all one in spirit. We say all of life is one presence, one power made manifest in a multitude of forms. One presence, one power drawn forth in a multitude of forms. That means that each of us is the drawing forth of the perfection of the one presence, the one power. Not a multitude of separate little bits and pieces planted here or hanging on some string that the divine holds, but rather the living forth of the one presence and one power. That means in every way, where we stand, there is holiness. There is the living presence of the One. And the way in which we choose to live that, or see that, or believe that, is the manifest realm that we call life on earth, expressing in every form and fashion. Today is Diwali. I've only seen about Diwali on TV or somewhere, but it's a celebration of light. Today is Diwali. It's a celebration of light. 5 days. 5 days. And today is the apex day. Day 3 is the central day of Diwali. So it marks the triumph of light over darkness, of good over evil. And more than 1 billion Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, and Buddhists around the world are celebrating. People from Nepal, Malaysia, Fiji, in the Southern Asian communities and collective, all over the world. And it has just in the last few years come to be more celebrated here in the U.S. As far as I know. I don't remember hearing a lot about it before. We had Veterans Day, and Louise left a little Veterans Day remembrance. She was thinking about John Kelly, her husband, who passed almost 2 years ago, and remembering his life in the military. From the movie Slaughterhouse-Five, from the book Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. It was a movie about American bombers in World War II and the gallant men who flew them. It was seen backwards. It was displayed backwards, and the story went like this. American planes full of holes and wounded men and corpses took off backwards from an airfield in England. Over France, a few German fighter planes flew at them backwards, sucked bullets and shell fragments from some of the planes and the crewmen. They did the same for wrecked American bombers on the ground, and those planes flew up backwards to join the formation. The formation flew backwards over a German city that was in flames, and the bombers opened their bomb bay doors, exerted a miraculous magnetism which shrunk the fires, gathered them into cylindrical steel containers, and lifted the containers into the bellies of the planes. The containers were stored neatly in racks. The Germans below had miraculous devices of their own, which were long steel tubes. They used them to suck more fragments from the crewmen and the planes. But there were still a few wounded Americans, and some of the bombers were in bad repair. Over France, German fighters came up again and made everything and everybody as good as new. When the bombers got back to their base, the steel cylinders were taken from the racks, shipped back to the United States, where factories were operating night and day, dismantling the cylinders, separating the dangerous contents into minerals. And touchingly, it was mainly women who did this work. The minerals were then shipped to specialists in remote areas. It was their business to put them into the ground, to hide them cleverly, so they would never hurt anybody ever again. It's an insight into what we wish. What we wish is that we could undo some of the things that have happened. We could suck back the energy of those wars, of the injuries, and deconstruct so that we could plant the minerals and the possibilities of new life once again. In every experience, we say, because there is one presence and one power active in the universe and active in our lives. In fact, there is within us the capacity to undo those things that have been done through our own hearts, through our own minds, through our own actions, through our own lives, as we live in tribute to those times that preceded us, those experiences that went before us. And so it is that we come together as a community here in this unity of Skagit Valley, seeking to open our hearts and our minds and our lives to new ways of living and being through the truths that are taught by unity and through the ideas that we can use to transform our consciousness and our personal lives. But more than that, so that we might be a contribution to the world in which we live, so that perhaps actions that have been taken can be healed and doors that seem to be closed can be opened, that new life might be resurrected, might be brought forth from what has been. And so on this celebration day of bringing light to the darkness, and on this celebration weekend of Veterans Day, we give thanks for all those who have come before, the courageous beings who have stood with us in the belief that something more is possible, even when we did not know what that would mean. So we offer our gratitude and our blessing to all. Richard, would you share our daily word? Thank you.
So I'll bet you'll be able to guess the word for the day by this affirmation. Faith heals, prospers, blesses, and sustains me. Anybody want to guess the word? Right. Faith. And I was struck by some of the things that Reverend Linda was sharing, that faith is that piece of us when we question our knowing of the truth. It is that piece of us that we can rely on to continue to support us in all of these ways. Sometimes I wish I had a way of looking into the future, don't you? And knowing what to expect. Surely, if I knew what to expect in the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes or maybe 10 years, I'd know what to do today. But no, it doesn't work that way. But even though I cannot know how the future might unfold, I can still be prepared for it through the power of my faith. Having faith means I have unwavering fidelity to spiritual truth. My faith is my anchor, keeping me steady during shifting worldly circumstances. Boy, aren't they? And focused not on the things of the world, but on the power of spirit. My faith keeps me calm and steady in the midst of uncertainty. Inventive when met with stagnation, and adaptable and creative when faced with changing circumstances. I turn my attention to God and feed my soul, illumined by my belief that everything is working for good. I align with this truth and go forth blessed by my faith. And a very powerful, pithy statement from 2 Corinthians. For we walk by faith, not by sight.
Mm.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Go ahead. Get on it. The cookie baker is in the house.
Hi, everybody. I'm looking for cookie bakers. So I'd like to make an announcement about our plans for this. And it's on our website too, so it's available for you to read. Calling all bakers and cookie makers. The baking elves of USV are ready to brighten your holidays, and we need your help. We need volunteers to help with with taking baking and filling orders. Gifts of ingredients are also welcome. Heather Bryson, moi, is leading the charge again this year. For more information or questions on how you can contribute, please mail Heather at Unity SV or text 425-319-1716. And I ask you to text because I don't answer my phone if I don't recognize the number. Too much spam. So we're looking forward to everyone's participation, and we need a commitment of the type of cookie that you're going to be baking by December 3rd. We need a delivery, we have a delivery to the church date of the cookies you're actually making on the 12th. And the cookie, and I will at that time, me and my baking elves, we will make platters and sell them. And those will be sold on the 17th. Those will be delivered at church on the 17th. If you want to put an order in, send me an email and I'll get you on the list. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Would you repeat Heather at unitysv.org?
Sure. I'll repeat.
Yeah.
Heather at unitysv.org. Heather at unitysv.org.
And phone number.
425-319-1716. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from everybody. This is going to be fun.
And pass the word to those who are not here, who are handy dandy in the kitchen. Whoa.
And
Good morning.
we can take orders from people who don't go to church. So
Yeah.
pass the word to your friends
Yeah, to
for
everyone.
purchasing cookie platters. Okay.
Yeah, great. So, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yep, big work coming up. Hi, Ann. Please, can you? So this is Ann. Ann was with us last week and had some things on her heart. I love miracles. Do it.
Okay, when I came here, I hadn't been here for quite a while, and I was pretty down about different things, money being one of the big ones. I put a prosperity request into the prayer, and the next day I went to Subaru to have my brakes fixed. My car was 2001, front brakes pretty bad. I went in there and I said, how long would it take? And she said, oh, about 2 hours. So I sat there for 2 hours. And I got there at 2, and she comes out at 4 and said, there's been, a miscommunication. The guys back in the service, they were working on a different car. Your car has been sitting there, nothing's been done to it for 2 hours. She said, I'm really, really sorry that you had to sit there for 2 hours. Because you've been a good customer, I'll cover the payment.
Oh,
$500.
oh,
Will be covered.
wow.
Oh, sure, I'll wait.
Oh, yeah, I am open to my good. Thank you, Ann. You see, you never know. And the thing about you wait for 2 hours to, you're just hanging out, waiting, and then it could be there's been an increase in the cost, or it could be, there could be in all things that miracle, the thing we have not yet seen that testifies to us over and over again that the doors are not closed. They open in ways we just haven't yet seen. And how wonderful. Thank you for being willing to tell us the story. I love that. The Advent booklets are in. Christmas cometh. And I'll be doing a series of meditations in December on Thursday nights at 5 o'clock for half an hour. I'll be working online with you, anybody who wants to join. And I'll be using the themes, the Advent themes, faith and peace and love and joy as part of our meditation time. So it will begin I don't remember what date, but watch for it. It's coming up. On the we have a board meeting this week. On the 26th, we have our after Thanksgiving community potluck. We kind of sort of named it Leftover Sunday, but I think maybe that's like a few days after, and I don't know where you're getting your food from, but we'll have our Thanksgiving celebration after the service on the 26th. And we'll give you more information about the meditations and about other upcoming things. I have one question for you, and that would be our candle lighting service is traditionally on a Thursday, and Richard and Matthew are not available on Thursday, the 21st. What would you think about a Tuesday night? Would it work for you? Yes. Yeah, okay. So that would be the 20th, 19th. Would that be December 19th? I'm going to get back with them in the next few days. Does that work for all of us? I think so. Okay. And one more announcement, and it's about the prayer box. And obviously, putting a prayer in the prayer box or sending it through the internet, unitysv.org, into the prayer section of that. It means you can let go a little. You put a prayer in or call Silent Unity. Call Silent Unity. You say, what's the number at Silent Unity? I don't know. One something. Pray. Thank you, Dee. Yeah, pray now. You've obviously done that. Is it 866? Pray now? Yeah, okay. All right. Nothing more powerful when you really have something up or something small, something big, to call Silent Unity and hear a person on the other end say, how may we pray with you? And it's powerful prayer. Our prayers go from the prayer box to Silent Unity to be prayed with, but there's nothing more powerful than actually having one of their dedicated prayer workers pray with you. 24 hours a day, somebody will answer for 125 years or something like that, 24 hours a day. They said in the face of a tornado, one of the prayer directors at Unity went to the top of the Unity Tower, which is the largest building in that great area where Unity is housed in Lee's Summit, Missouri. She went to the top of the tower. One of those powerful praying people, her name was May Rowland, and leaned out through the portico at the top of the tower and said, you're not coming here. Literally raised her hands to the storm. But down through time, prayer workers at Unity Village have emanated a particular kind of power of prayer, and it changes things. So make use of that opportunity as well. You can always find information in the Daily Word, and we have a few Daily Words left for you if you don't have one. Blah, 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 said the minister. Communication is a huge issue. How do we communicate, and how is it effective to receive communication is one of the core aspects of our work. How do we do we best hear it when it comes out of this place, or do we best read it when it's online? If you're not part of our emails, please sign up for that, and know that we're just finding new ways to do things, which is a wonderful gift. New ways to do things. I asked this week what our mortgage is on our building. $119,000. We could pay off our building. I know, look at your mouth. I know, 119,000. That's, we could do that. We could actually put together the energy to do something like that. Would it help us? Would it be beneficial? We have a good rate of interest. Ted arranged and refinanced and made things happen in a wonderful way. But I think about it, and I looked at that and I thought, ooh, that's possible. We could actually put that somewhere in our vision bank individually and say, oh, that could happen. What could we do in our own lives when we dedicate ourselves toward practicing the principles of unity, bringing forth our visions, bringing forth ideas, planting them from our faith center into our imagination, and knowing that many things are possible that could make a difference in our own lives in ways we haven't activated yet. Enough, they said. The people said, let's pray. Do we have an intro?
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. You are so blessed. You are so blessed. You are so grateful for all that you have. You are so blessed. You are so blessed. You are so grateful. You are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
As you settle in, I'm reminded of the example of sediment as it settles in water. That you can shake things up and the sediment rises to the surface. But as it becomes still, that sediment settles. That's what we do as we move within. We allow that stirring up to settle. We allow the gathering of bits and pieces of our lives to settle. For in the stillness is power, and in that power is a perfect order, and in that perfect order is a harmony that moves and flows and reconciles and heals. In the stillness is a perfect flowing. And we relax and allow it to flow through us. We notice that the mind tries to bait us to rise to the surface again. Or the sounds around, or whatever, those things that tempt us to rise, to figure something out. But we are dedicating ourselves to settling. The mind will be the mind. And the body will be the body. And we settle. Reminding ourselves that we are safe. In the endless, infinite presence of the love and the peace of God. There is a perfect order at work in your life. An unseen mystery revealing itself one step at a time. And in faith, we take that one next step. in faith believing, believing in the unseen, everywhere presence of that which is present to meet our every need. I believe that the next step is a step in goodness, in grace, in holiness. I believe that every piece is unfolding into something greater than I've ever known or seen. And the Spirit prompting me in each step reveals what needs to be known, reveals what need be seen, and opens the path as I pass from moment to moment. I believe that as I take that step and am given the clarity that pure light that reveals all things, that I come to know more and more and more deeply the truth that is being revealed in me and through me. I believe in the power that moves through me as courage and strength, as new ways of seeing and being, of receiving and letting go, and understanding that deep wisdom to know a truth that sets me free. The Christ truth, the living truth, the Buddha truth, the infinite truth that flows in and through my being. Never alone, never separate, forever in the presence of love. From revelation to revelation, from one breath to the next, I am blessed, and you are blessed, and all are blessed. And so we give thanks, a deep thanks from a place of knowing that in and through and as me, and in and through and as my life, the perfect order is bringing forth only good. And so it is. Amen.
From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to fly. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope, it's the voice of peace, it's the voice of every man. From a distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. There are no guns, no bombs, and no disease, no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, we are instruments playing in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of every man. God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance. From a distance, you look like my friend, even though we are at war. From a distance, I just cannot comprehend what all this fighting's for. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the hope of hopes, it's the love of loves, it's the song of every man. God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance. God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance.
Thank you. Always. Thank you. Thank you, Ward. We're so fortunate. We are so fortunate. I don't know what other people are doing on Sunday morning, but we are so fortunate. The Catholics were busy in my neighborhood this morning. There were people all over the place. That little church in La Conner, they do it. They just do it. There's no place to park. They just do it. Good for them. Actually, I wasn't taking that anywhere. It was simply an observation. I had my own little war this morning. So I have a routine. I get up somewhere between 4:30 and 5 to do the more clear work for Sunday morning. And I'm generally printing these things that I never use, but printing them nonetheless by 9-ish, 9:15. But we were out late last night, so it's 9:25 and I'm printing. And now I'm still in my nightgown and my flip-flops, and I'm going to go get ready to come. When Kay Stewart leaves home and comes back in, like, I don't know, 4 minutes later, my car won't start. Oh, your car won't start. Like, what are you going to do about that? Like snarky. That was that sound that I just made. It's like, I don't know. You want me to take you, but it's time for me to get ready, and I have my nightgown on, and this is not a good time. Like, that's going to change that her car doesn't run, right? Or that she can get to work. She needs to be there too. So in my nightgown and my flip-flops, I rush to the car. No driver's license, no handbag, nothing, just the keys. I don't speak, like that's going to punish her. Because the car doesn't work, right? I get home, I rush in the house. It's like, got to figure out what to wear, blah, 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 da-da-da. The mind starts to go a little crazy. And the cat wants to use the litter box, but it's got litter in it, used. And we must not use it if it's been used by our sister. So we have to stand in line and make a scene about it. I'm like, not now, not now, not now. I think, oh, okay, I'll clean the litter. Then I'm like in a stir, right? Like it's the cat's fault, the car's fault, Kay's fault, somebody's fault. And I think every day we create a war. Every day with something is the potential to create so much resistance in ourselves about what is. It's what is. What? I'm going to leave her not being able to get to work? What? It's going to cost me 5 minutes to drive that loop and throw her out of the car with her bag and her lunch. What? What is that comes up So we've been talking about stopping the war, the inner war. And Ave, our kitty, I'm like, not now. And then I think, Ave, you know, what? That resistance. Like time is the imperative. My schedule is the imperative. My way is the imperative. Seems to be what comes up over and over and over again as a point of resistance, and that place where we go to war, even if it's only for a few minutes. And now I'm confessing and seeking forgiveness in myself for being in that response. Now I have to go home and say I'm sorry to the cat and to Kay, because when you really look at it from a distance, it's nothing. It's nothing. Nothing that riles us on occasion, and maybe not you as much. But I notice it more and more, that it's those little things that turn me inside out. And so reading this chapter today in A Path with Heart, it's called Turning Straw into Gold, was just really helpful for me. And it's helpful in a more expansive way than I'm talking about, but it's every little piece of those more trite things that build into a more expansive thing. And then I justify the resentment or the twitteriness that goes with that. And then I think, was it worth it? Was anything that happened there worth it? Well, did I learn something for the 10 millionth time? That every moment counts? But not in a way that has to do with the big things, but every one of those leads to the big thing, that something that we're carrying or remembering or living out of, that's still got power, fuel. And it doesn't take much to fuel that flame into the next resentment. Like, nobody made a plan for dinner. Are you going to the store? It's all that and so much more that puts us in this state that we call a resistant state that keeps us off balance until we start becoming more conscious. And in that more conscious state, we can see it. And when we see it, we can correct it. Who to blame out of that story this morning? The car? It deliberately sabotaged the morning, that car? I know it. It's a conscious being out there in the wind and the weather. No. So as we regulate ourselves in consciousness, it isn't that things don't occur. It's that we have the capacity to back up, look at them with some perspective, and then decide, how big a deal am I going to make over this? And now, having made a big deal over it, can I switch it? Can I shift it? Jack Kornfield, like the young maiden in the fairy tale Rumpelstiltskin, who is locked in a room full of straw, We often don't realize that there's straw all around us, and it's gold in disguise. The basic principle of spiritual life is that our problems become the very place to discover wisdom and love. Our problems, our whatevers, straw into gold, locked in our own mind, filled with straw, if you will, that is disguised gold. There's gold in there. There's something to be learned. There's something to be gained. There's something to be known that can make a difference. And in that making of a difference, we become more conscious and more aware that every small wiggle in the vibration left unattended, not like you have to make a big deal out of it, but left there collects, magnetizes what we give our attention to in unity. This is what we teach. What we give our attention to increases. So how much increase do we want out of these things that seem to be such a big deal that we can't release and let them go? When we set out to love, to awaken, to become free, we are inevitably confronted with our own limitations, says Jack. When we set out to love, to awaken, to become free, we are inevitably confronted with our own limitations. As we look into ourselves, we see more clearly our unexamined conflicts and fears, our frailties and confusion, and we bring them into the transformative power of the heart. As we look into ourselves, we see more clearly our unexamined conflicts and fears, our frailties and confusion, and we bring them into the transformative power of the heart. I like the way he phrased that, because he said the path of the one who is choosing to live a spiritual life, or saying that we're living a spiritual life, is to come upon our limitations over and over and over again. Not to do good, not to open and expand ourselves into new awareness, turning that experience into the hidden gold, which is the wisdom and the understanding that goes with it, that allows us to look at it and say, is this the way? Is this the way? Is this the path I choose to walk? He also says that, and it's a very important statement, no matter how much yoga we do, no matter how much meditation we do, no matter how many workshops we attend or books we read, we're going to continue on a path that reveals to us our limitations over and over and over again. Not because they're set in stone, but because this urgency for freedom, inner freedom, is so strong. When it rises in someone, when your spiritual interest or curiosity or desire rises in you, it's an extraordinary moment in time. You begin to look at life from a different perspective almost immediately. There's something that wants to be born, and when it arises, it reveals itself in a variety of ways. But one of the ways in which it reveals itself is a desire to move higher, to move into another dimensionality, to move into another way of being. It's a lure. It's what we call the lure of the spiritual path. It awakens in you, and it's like a lure out there, prompting you to move forward, move forward, move forward through this path of awakening. And in the path of awakening, what we see more and more and more clearly, the more or the longer perhaps we're on our journey, what we see is that in every aspect of our lives, this awakening process is at work. We think I think I said it last week, we're headed for nirvana. Like, I can set the course and I'm on the journey, and in that, it's a worthy desire to rise to the highest level or the most expanded conscious level we can reach. But at the same time in that comes this not just a paradox, but it's the only way I know to describe it. That awakening is one step at a time, and it occurs not in the big things, but in these little things that come one after another. Awakening isn't the reached goal. It's what happens as we gain a deeper insight into the way Spirit is growing us through our stories, through our experiences, whatever the case might be. So when he says awakening is a decision that people make out of the kind of luminosity of all things, that we choose a spiritual path. We want to become awakened beings. We have a hunger to rise above our old story and our family and everything that came before. That's what prompts us. Often is pain. What prompts us is often the story that we've lived all our lives. And why would our awakening grow out of that fertile soil? Because it's a prompting, because it's the fertile place where something can begin to grow in us. And in that place, and in that deep place in our own being, comes this flower. I love that the Buddhists use the lotus flower. But I had a lotus pond, and it smelled horrible. We had this wonderful, when we lived in Santa Barbara, we had this wonderful little pond thing, and decided to put lotus and koi in it. And the koi were eaten almost immediately by the raccoons. And the pond smelled so awful, and you couldn't get it to not smell bad. The lotus was flourishing. The lotus was like fully opening and beautiful and magnificent, but if you got too close, it was like not a place you wanted to hang out. In the antiquity of biblical languaging, when you become conscious, there is this constancy of two states that are essential. It wasn't that Eve ate the apple thing, that it's just a story that illustrates that becoming more conscious, becoming a spiritual being consciously, brings together these elements, and some of them smell bad and are pretty disgusting. At the same time, there is this flowering this flourishing potentially taking place. And the war in us is we like the flower, but we hate the smell. We like the product, but we don't like the process. We want the high place, but we don't want to climb the mountain. And it doesn't have to be hard work. It is the work of entering into a kind of responsibility of being that is born out of every little piece of all these things. You don't have to attend them all, but you can watch them, witness them, see them, and it says transmute them through the experience of the heart. And how do you do that? Through the experience of the heart. What does that mean? I've got a heart, it's over here somewhere. Some people have it over here. I've got a heart over here. What does it mean? It's a fundamental physical necessity to have a heart, right? We talk about the heart. What is this heart thing that can transform things, that can transmute things, that can heal what's been broken? It's this heart thing. Where are you going to point? Where is it? Is it an attitude? Is it a place? Is it a tangible something? We say. Well, in the physical form, we say, well, it's this kind of area here, but what are you going to take that thing with the cat box this morning and where are you going to transmute that? Where's the heart to go to? Anybody know? You got your hand there. I'm looking at you. Yeah. But is it really a physical place? Is it a spiritual place? Is it a somethingness? Is there anything tangible about that? When we say, go into your heart, where are you going? How does this work? It's a mystery. Well, is it how I sit? Is it how? So the mind starts to take over the process. And we lose the experience of being able to drop into what we call our great heart, our expansive heart, the place where these things resolve into that which is greater. Where, what? I have no way to describe what it means to be in the heart, except through the energetic of an experience that occurs when I move from this or that, stir, whatever that is I'm creating over here, into this infinite spaciousness that isn't contained, but is a reality of that which I am perpetually. Where, we say, where? Well, it happens when you drop into yourself and you take those sharp-edged pieces, if you will, into this something indescribable that we call the heart. And you bring some sort, if you will, of attention and you simply present yourself there. I am in my heart. I can feel the waves and the pulsation of this that we call the heart center. And in that place, I can actually bring my attention to an idea of kindness or compassion. Where is the heart, we say? We make it so hard to enter into the energetic, the vast energetic of our own being, that it seems foreign to say on our spiritual journey, we're awakening into our heart. Not this, but this that is boundless. And if someone knows how they describe that, it's beyond word. It's almost beyond thought. But if we've confused attention with thought, it's not the same thing. I can be talking this way, and at the same time have my attention here in this, I don't know, heartness of being. And in that state, I find a capacity that is present, that I bring to the world, that is far greater than I am to myself. And sometimes we can go there, and sometimes we have a wall. We say, physical location, where would you like that to be? Well, our attention goes here. Why? Because the heart is here. The physical heart. Elemental, essential for being in a body is to have a heart. But where is the spaciousness that I call my heart? And in that place, things turn around. Come right side up. And it influences everything. In meditation, then we say, well, I go into my heart. Well, where the heck do you go? Go into my heart. I go into my center. Well, what? Where's your center? We're still asking that question, some of us. Depends on the day. If I'm going to bring something to the world of value, it's not because I can talk. It's because what emanates from me or from you is greater in any given moment than the structure of thought. Our difficulties, says Jack Kornfield, require our most compassionate attention. Just as lead can be transformed into gold in alchemy, when we place our leaden difficulties, whether of the body, the heart, or the mind, into the center of our being, they can become lightened for us, illuminated. This task, I repeat, is usually not what we want, but what we have to do. No amount of meditation, yoga, diet, and reflection will make all of our problems go away. But we can transform our difficulties into our practice until little by little they guide us on our way. The place where we can most directly open to the mystery of life is in what we don't do well, in the places of our struggles and vulnerability. These places always require surrender and letting go. When we let ourselves become vulnerable, new things can be born in us. In risking the unknown, we gain a sense of life itself. And what he said then, and where at time is, in the places of my struggles, vulnerability, difficulties, the one and only resource we have is not out there. It is here, in the place of our own transmutation, in the place of our own transformation, in the place where we bring these disparate elements into what we call the heart space, breathing gently and compassionately until we can open into a state of loving acceptance. And then what we do with that is the answer to, how do I stop the war? How do I stop the war? I remember that the only place that stops the war is within me. Next week, we end this research into a path with heart, and it's called Breaking Through. The lesson title is called Breaking Through. And I work with a story from an extraordinary being named Michael Meade, who some of you might know about. And Michael Meade is quite a remarkable being, a storyteller, an author, a scholar of mythology, anthropology, and psychology. He is the founder of the Mosaic Multicultural Foundation, which he began, and the creator of the Living Myth podcast. If you're interested in Michael Meade, he's doing a free presentation on the 16th, this week, on the 16th. And I'm going to watch it and see what he's bringing to the world, because he's talking about this time in the world and where we are all experiencing our own push and shove. And just enter Michael Meade in your search, and it'll come up with him and several areas you can visit. But if you're interested, next Sunday I'm going to be telling one of his major stories. And then we'll end that. And then it'll be time for Thanksgiving. And then it'll be time for Christmas. And then it'll be time for the New Year. And we can decide who we're going to be in this new time. A new Thanksgiving, a new Christmas, a new Year. It's all there waiting for us. As we share our tithes and love offerings, I remind you that our ministry is based on your participation and the way in which your generosity governs what we do and how we do it here. It is through your giving and your receiving that this ministry is sustained, and through the movement and the flow of spirit in you and through you and around you, your gifts come to us blessed And we bless them and send all our love to you in return for the great work you're doing. I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. And so it is. With green stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been making a picture book.
You're making a picture book. Mhm. Let's join in our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And it is. Shall we stand and sing our peace song? You're going to join hands with somebody down there.